Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Jordan and this is your midday news fix for Tuesday the 30th of April. The Prime Minister maintains he has his sights set on targeting crime after a number of public smash and grabs. On numbers in yesterday's One News Varian poll, the coalition couldn't form a government. Support slid for National Act and New Zealand First, with New Zealand First dipping below the 5% party vote required to get into Parliament. Asked if crime is part of the problem, Chris Luxon says he's sick of it and he knows the public is too.
Now we've got a whole bunch of work to do to get it sorted, but you don't turn around 6 years of soft on crime consequences in 150 days.
Luxon has also spoken about changes at the Ministry of Disabled People, which is under review. It has cost, operations and workforce issues dating back to its origins in the Ministry of Health. It's been under fire for abrupt funding announcements in March, which ultimately led to Minister Penny Simmonds losing the portfolio. Luxon says Replacement Minister Louise Upston is powering on with the review.
We desperately need to know that there is good management and good stewardship of the taxpayers' funds and that the money is getting to the disabled people that need it.
Children living in emergency housing motels are set to be moved to the top of the social housing waitlist from today. Housing Minister Chris Bishop says the situation the government has inherited is a mess.
They weren't a priority, and basically people were randomly going from emergency housing into random locations.
A medical expert says the government's latest $1.7 billion funding boost for Pharmac won't result in more drugs for more conditions. Otago University oncologist Professor Chris Jackson says it's only a modest increase.
The government made a big deal when it was in opposition about Pharmac funding being poor. They made a big deal about the fact they were going to fund new cancer medicines, but none of this looks like it's actually going to increase the number of drugs available to New Zealanders.
Support in the education sector for a government focus on learning support. Minister Erica Stanford has laid out 6 priorities, including improving teacher training, giving high-need students more learning support. The Secondary Principals Council says that's urgently needed in secondary schools. NZEI President Mark Potter says primary and early childhood teachers agree.
It's a particular area that our members will be looking forward to seeing some traction, some gains in.
Christchurch's Hallswell Road will become harder to negotiate from tomorrow, with lane restrictions as a 2.5-year redevelopment kicks off. And founders of the 80% completed Grand Tourist Centre being built in Christchurch's Cathedral Square say it's looking great, but is in a very precarious financial position. Musician Billie Eilish is skipping New Zealand on her latest world tour from September, but will appear in Australia in February. But in good news, US comedian Jerry Seinfeld is bringing his stand-up show to Auckland and Christchurch in June. He turns 70 today. To sport. Qatar wants to host the finals weekend of rugby's new Nations Championship from 2026 and have put up commercial returns of 1.6 billion New Zealand dollars as part of their pitch. All Whites goalkeeper Nick Sarnev has been released by 4th-tier English football club AFC Wimbledon, and the United States and Mexico are withdrawing their joint bid to host the 2027 Women's Football World Cup, leaving Brazil and a joint Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands bid, the two contenders. I'm Malcolm Jordan, that's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at 5 p.m. from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.